Hi again, everybody. This is the next stage in building my model railway in the shed. I mentioned in the previous video I am putting together and planning the control panel, and this is it. What I have is one of the drop down, again, sorry about the birds in the background. Obviously I'm doing this in the house on my desk, and every time the bird screeches, the camera picks up on them and reduces the volume for me. So apologies if it keeps doing that. I tried covering the birds up, but it makes no difference. And my African grey, which is a new one, the one I did a video on a while ago, died at Christmas last year, which I expected. The previous owner didn't know how to look after African greys, and she suffered badly. She had a beak. The upper and lower mandibles were crossed over. She couldn't eat properly. She had a respiratory problem, which is what happens if you have a parrot in an environment where people smoke. Carrots parrots absorb the smoke, and it's like passive smoking, and I think they gave the bird crisps. Parrots cannot absorb salt, and it builds up in the body to the point it kills them, and she did have a respiratory problem. What I have got now is my pair of African greys I have in an aviary. Had 2 chicks on the 23rd of June. I've sold one and I've kept one for me. I may do a video of who knows. I probably will do a video when she starts talking, but she's a bit screechy at the moment. But anyway, I've digressed a little bit. This is one of the flip down parts you've seen in previous videos. I've stuck on a piece of card. I'm just clamped down at the moment, and these are weighting it down. There's some parts where it sort of bubbled a little bit, so I'm just waiting for it to dry. And I've done this. Try and get in shot. This is the representation of the points on the layout as it is. I intend to put switches on this board, and lights. I'll explain the lights when I get to that section, which will be in a few seconds. The bit about along the bottom, I want to put lights switches here to switch on station lights, farm lights, the village lights, and general lights around the layout, and that's why they're there. And the switches here, which represent, like say, switch 1 will go to point 1 and so on and so on. Those 2 there, where I've got, let's say, P3, P4, so it's point 3 and point 4. When I flick that switch, I want point 3 and point 4 to both switch at the same time. So the next part of this video you'll see, hopefully, if I get it right, the switches installed and possibly the lights here. So that's it for now. I'll be back in a couple of seconds, so hold on. Hi again. Before I go on, can I welcome my father-in-law to this channel. He's now joined YouTube and he's following my videos. So, hello Daddy. I have to say, for his age, he's absolutely brilliant on using computers, which is why he can watch these videos. But anyway, next stage, I've now connected the switches, as you can see. These switches along the bottom are only there for show. These are momentary on, off, on switches. I need on-off switches, which I'm just about to order because I've got no on-off switches. These because they're for the point motors. They need to be momentary ones. So that's the next stage. What I did with these is I drilled 6mm hole for these to poke through, and then I had to use a 10mm screw drill rather, just so the nut that's on the underside of this would fit, would go flush against the plywood. Some of you may have noticed I've used a different piece of wood. This is Mark II. The 9mm wood I used, which is this one. It's too thick. The switches wouldn't come through, so I had to make another one out of 2mm plywood, and it works. It'll fit in perfectly. So that's that stage. This over here, the reason that this is blank is behind. I'll be installing a point position indicator, capacitor discharge unit, and a distribution block, plus the normal electrical blocks. There'll be 2 or 3 of them behind here, so I needed a large space so it didn't interfere with the wiring from this. I'm going to have to do something with this because it does look a bit of a mess. Might stick a picture of me on there. Oh dear. So yeah, I've got to order the switches now. So the next stage you'll see in this is I'll have the switches, put them in situ, and I'm going to drill holes here for the LEDs. So the next video you'll see is the LEDs in place and the switches wired up. And so I'll be back in a few seconds. Hi, and final part of this collection of videos on my control panel. Apologies again if you hear any rain in the background. It's pouring down again in Kent, and I have to do all my recording in the conservatory. Yeah, so this is the final part. When I come to do my main layout, I need to come up with something far better than this. This was just an A4 sheet of paper. I did this in Word and printed it out. This section I wanted clear of any of these switches, and I'll show you why in a minute. I then laminated the A4 sheet, and it did pose a couple of problems when I was drilling the holes for the LEDs and the switches. The laminator came away slightly. You can see the roughness around there. What I need to do is, when I do the main one, is to find a printer that will produce it for me onto, I don't know, a backing board or wherever's available at the time. So that's it. I put 5 latching switches. They're for the point motors. I'm just using the Hornby standard underboard motors. I was looking at the surface mounted, but I didn't like the look of them on the layouts, so I've used the underboard, which I'll show you when I fit them. So I've got 5 latching switches, so it's on, off, on. So if I switch it either way, it comes back to the centre, which is needed for the points. And these 5 on, off switches, and they will be for the station lights and the farm yard lights, the village lights, and lamps that will be going in various parts of the layout. And the reason I needed this clear is because of this. What I've done is I put in a circuit sort of power board. So I've connected all the positives from the switches to here, and I've bridged it across the bottom here. I hope you can see it. I don't get too close, so half the board disappeared. And I bridged with a wire across here, and then a link wire into the CDU. And I use the self-tinning wire for this. So all I needed to do is hold it in position, and then it's just soldered it to each point. I could have daisy chained these. This is the common, by the way. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. So this is the common wire. I could have linked them, so daisy chained them rather, from there to there, from there to there, from there to there, from there to there, and then into the CDU. But I wanted to do it this way. This part, by the way, will take the common wires from all the point motors. So when I wire the point motors in on the board, on the baseboard, and they'll all come back to here. The red and green will obviously go to the switches and via this, and then it'll be linked to here. Now what I want to do is to put, I need to move this, by the way, I want to put electrical block here. I'll drop that down a bit. So what will happen is the red wire will come in. There'll be two wires from the switch, one going to the switch and one going to here. And all this is for, which I've shown in a previous video, is the point position indicator. So it'll tell me, based on the colour of the light, which way the point is. The way I've decided to do it on this, which I'll show you, these LEDs are bi-colour LEDs, the red and green. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to know which point is open and which is closed, and which position the blade's in. So if it's green, I know the train will pass it and go round again. If when I flick the switch and it's red, I'll know then it's going to go up onto the points that way, or that way. Drill a hole there by mistake as well. You can probably see. First hole I drilled it in the wrong place. So yeah, if it's red, it means I can't go down the points. If it's green, I know I can. And that's the way I wanted to do it. These two will be linked, as these two will be linked together. So the points will switch at the same time, both points. These are all individual, these ones. No, sorry. Yeah, got that wrong. They're the ones that are together. So they'll switch together. They're separate, that's separate, that and that are all separate. And that's what that does. That'll tell me, or rather that'll switch based on the point position, switch the colours. So all the wiring will go in, and I'll show you the wiring when I've finished it. And then it'll come out here to these, so that I'm going to put another block about there, and that'll be moved over, and these wires will come in and into here, and that's all that does. It just tells me which is green, which is red. That's all it does. The power comes into here from my power supply, and then it's linked to there. And that's it. That's all I can think of for now. And there's probably something I've forgotten to mention. So I've just got to put these blocks in, move these, put these blocks in, finish the wiring. Now I can't do that wiring. This has got to be in on the layout. Because the next wiring now will be to put the bus wire in for my track, and all the points. And all the wiring for the points. So I've no idea when I'm going to be doing that. Probably over the next week or two, and I'll do a video on that. These will be the last things I wire up,
because I won't have a station yet, and I won't have a farm set up, or a village. So they'll be the last things I wire up. Just need to tidy all these up, and these will be, I'll flatten these down, these bi-coloured LEDs, again, which will go into a block and then transfer to here, because they're not long enough. So I'm going to put it so it'll go into here, and then I'll extend the wires from here to there. That's my idea anyway. That will be from the points on the baseboard coming into here, to the switches, to here, to there, and that's it. I can't think of anything else I needed to mention. And a quick message to my father-in-law: don't forget, if you want to, for your name or your channel name to appear in the list below this video, you need to click on about making a public comment, type in your comment and click, I can't remember what it says, click submit or whatever. It's obvious when you see it. So that's it for now. Thanks very much for your time.